you done did it now. Chaos, you should have put this one in the vault, man. They not ready. They don't know what's coming, man. Are we gonna drop this on them right here? Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for none of this. Your boys are bad, man. Then we invading the streets, make them clap a rapper skirt. They be dropping the heat, shock the world. Now I'm standing alone. I flip fools like them clamshell cellular phones. You can't help but nod your head to the track. Fuck the watered down rap, we be taking it back. Give it to me straight, ain't no chasing it. Check yourself in the mirror, ain't no facing it. Cause you playing the role and you planning to fold. This the master plan, we got the planet on hold. We all over the streets like your favorite sneaker. Breaking up your sound like a drive-through speaker. Everything that I be spitting is strong. After I rock, fast forward through the rest of the song. We the monkey wrench, that's gonna ruin your plan. And don't fuck with y'all, Cena, I'm a bad man.
With the mic in my hands, I'm a bad man. Even in the fight with my hands, I'm a bad man.
Hello, and welcome not to GRAPPL Patreon, and welcome to a Spotlight. This is a weird one. I'm Benno.
And I'm Matty.
And we didn't fully plan on being here tonight, Matty, but here we are. With John Cena playing us in. I say we didn't fully plan for it. You fully planned for it. You knew this was coming the entire time. You and our good friend SP3 who predicted this. You said to me we've recorded a couple of shows today, pre-show, if that counts as its own show. We've done a bit of a dealer's choice. I am on location and in Belfast for those wondering for the weird setup. I apologise. We've needs must really, but you did say we'd end up doing an extra show on that Sunday, and I was like, it's a B-Fed pay-per-view. We're not going to need to record anything else, mate. We're going to be one and done. It can wait till a Tuesday Spotlight. It's going to be fine. I think you turned out to be right in the end, mate. I
mean, I didn't foreshadow what happened, but you just never know, Ben. You just always got to have that. Let it play out, as they say, Benno, as a good/bad man once said. Let it play out, mate. And Jesus Christ, I mean, there's a lot to go into here. Obviously, the main thing, but just a lot to say on it. A lot.
Yeah, that's it. We just thought it couldn't wait till Tuesday. I think it needed this special edition, mate. Are we allowed to say what's happened now? I think we've got
to go for the old show.
Spoilers.
Yeah, we're
recordings. We're probably gonna have to talk about it, aren't we? At some point, and throw it in there. But bloody hell, mate! What a day!
Wait there. Well, let me announce it first. Randy Orton is back, Benno. Is that what you're going on about? Is that what we're talking
I thought we were going to
about
talk about how. My big question is, how does Jay so fit into all this? Like, what's he going to do? What's he going to say? What's he going to think? Maybe we should have waited for Monday Night Raw just to find out. That's obviously the real main event of WrestleMania. But yeah, I was sending you excited WhatsApps last night, mate, at 4 a.m. after the Fed pay-per-view. You were up, I was up, and we were all very excited. We need to have this conversation today, and it's because of what happened at the end of Elimination Chamber last night. Where do we start? Cody and The Rock, the build through the day. My bet's not being settled. I had some money on Drew. I fell for the
mate, you got work, mate.
Going around like Drew. I should have known as soon as we found out that Dwayne's segment was going on last.
That was the big one.
That's it. That was the big tip off, but. Yeah, did you say there you didn't see it coming at all? The big John Cena turn, mate. After all this time, he's made you a fan. You're a John guy now. Finally,
I am.
I think
that's all.
Coming out of Elimination Chamber.
All it took was that to happen, Benno. And like I've said here many a time,
you're a Cody guy now. He swore, mate. He said the word fuck.
Oh, Ben, I'm more against Cody than I've ever been. I think. I mean, it's like as the listeners know, like me. Hatred at times, and I hate using that word. How ironic that, like, for John Cena over the years of sitting there and being like, just wishing him to turn heel or wishing him for something to happen on like a bragging rights or a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view over the years, and just wanting them to do something different and sitting through the absolute shite of him, like just crushing people and stuff like that for me, and just finally to see it happen, Ben, because. We're going to be a bit all over the place here with this whole angle, but like even when we've watched wrestling long enough, we're watching that angle, we can see the setup, and about 5 minutes in, I thought Cena's going to turn here, but until it happened, it's still in the back of your mind that it won't happen, isn't it? Until he literally kicked him in the butt. Well, when he hugged him in the face, he pulled the face at Rock, and Rock done the old slit of the throat, but. As I say, we've watched wrestling long enough to understand how it like gets structured. These, and I was still like, is he going to turn? Is he going to turn? And then when he done it, Ben, I mean, I think I read on the Discord, you were out your seat. I jumped out my seat, Ben. I didn't
sit down, mate. I've only sat down now. I only sat down to do some podcasts today, mate.
I've
sat
got
down
the feeling. It's inside me.
And
I've got them.
You say about predicting it though. I was up and down all night, like I say, a joke there. I did genuinely put a tenner on Drew when the smart money came in. I ended up pretty much betting on everybody in the match, so I went through the whole range of emotions just to make sure I got my money back. To be honest, because the odds swung so massively, I was able to really. I think I lost a $5 in the end, but I would have gained about 80 if Logan Paul won. But I went through like thinking Drew was going to be. That was me big talking point on the weekend show. He'll be the chosen one. Maybe they'll go that route. Him and Dwayne. Then I was like, well, maybe it'll be Logan Paul. Then I was bargaining with myself during the match. I was like, well, maybe it'll be Seth, and at least I'll win 60 quid out of it. So I'll go with that. And Seth's a big enough loser that it could be him. And I don't think I actually had that thought about Cena until the post match hit. Like, set the scene. Obviously, Rock coming out and asking Cody for his decision, being told to go fuck himself, which was a fucking fantastic moment. It was. Swear words, they please us all. It definitely
a proper swear word though, Ben. It went arse or damn. It was a proper swear word, that one.
No delayed bleeping of it on Netflix or anything like that.
Believe, didn't he?
You got that, and then what you got was Cena's response and Cena's reaction to it was exactly what would you imagine John Cena, the character's reaction would be. I've watched it back 3 or 4 times today, and I'm sure most people listening have done, and obviously yourself as well. But, he's clapping, and he's like, the thing about it is, it's Looper in it. I was about to make that joke tweet, Looper 2030, whatever it is. Like, they're literally the 2 Spider-Man memes, aren't they, Cody and Cena? Yeah. And the moment it clicked with me that Cena might be turning here, it was just like, so Rock has been turned down by Cody, and Cena is reacting pretty much how Cody would react, because they are 2 peas in the same pod. That's why I always thought it would be, a big WrestleMania match to do them together. And it just dropped in my head. I was like, so what's the selling point for their match now? And I was like, oh no, he's turning. Oh no, he's turning. And it was the stages of it. It was obviously, it's the facial reaction of Cena that's been memed massively today.
Unbelievable.
It's Rock doing the 3 countdown and the pointing to his neck. And then Cena's face dropping even more. And then you said the kick to the bollocks. And then the beat down afterwards we're going to get to. But it was like through those stages, like you said, I believe more and more that it was coming. Yeah. It was like, oh no, they're definitely going to do it. Oh wait, that face isn't for nothing. Oh my God, it's actually happening. It's actually here. And I joke all the time about WWE being the company of moments. And this was an all-time great moment. Whatever you think about the long term, whatever you think about the booking, whatever you think about Cena turning heel at this grand old age of his career, it was a perfectly executed moment. And that is what the company can, on their day, do really well.
But it's even like you've described the stages, Ben. It's even that face he pulls to Rock when... So he's hugging Cody, he's pulling that serious face to Rock, but when he pulls back and look at Cody in the face just before he kicks him in the balls, he's smiling and happy still. It's that range he showed, and then when he done it, Ben, I mean, the beatdown itself, like, we'll talk about Rock and Travis Scott as well in this, because...
We'll get to Travis Scott, yeah.
We'll get to The Rock, what the fuck he was wearing for the start. He's hilarious, but the beatdown was great as well. It was, kick to the balls, what you'd expect, get that reaction off the fans, which was there, of course it would be. And then it was just Cena throwing, for him, pretty decent digs, I'll have to say, I'll have to give him that. And then... just the belt shot, that first belt shot, Ben. Oh, fucking hell. I know the belt's like not made of what it used to be, and it makes a bit of a noise now, but he clonked him with that first belt shot, and it obviously drew the blood as well, whether it was hard way or not. But
it felt violent, didn't it?
Yeah, the choking of the tie, even, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It was proper stuff.
Shades of Justin Roberts.
Hitting him with the Rolex as well, which see, because I've read reports today that not many people were smartened up, and I don't know if Michael Cole was, because
Triple H said that in the presser.
He was calling it brass knuckles, but it was the Rolex McAfee had to...
yeah, I don't think he knew as a shoot.
Correct him. Yeah, it was like... But even that was a good little touch, because obviously paying into the story of the Rolex, what Cody with what Dusty and stuff. It's just little stuff like that, but... it was perfect. It was. Even the whipping, go on.
It was. I mean, it's funny. Like, I agree with you. I had a great time with it. It's very fast and furious. We say Cena's range. I mean, his range it's a small range that he's within.
But it's wrestling, as you always say.
Yeah. And the story is very, like, it's gigantically retconned. Like, that's the other thing about the post-show presser. You know, Rock's kind of like, you just got to let it play out sometimes. And all these smarties thought they knew what was coming. This just wasn't the plan at the time that Rock came out on Netflix.
Do you not think?
It absolutely not. And I don't think it was Rock's feelings being hurt and putting himself back into things and then making it work. And don't get me wrong, I think they made it work really well, even down to, like, the stupid segment with Dwayne forcing something in Cody's, hand last year, all of that stuff, to the watch and the Dusty story and all that. They're just retconning it. That's where it's also very Fast and Furious, because they do a lot of that. But it's like, that thing that happened in 3, actually, it's really important now, and you kind of go back to it. So he's from that universe, so he understands that. But I think they did a good job of there are other plot holes, but
I was going to say, I don't want to be negative
it work.
At all, Ben. The only negative I'll throw in, and I sound like you in a way, Ben. Sorry for the negative shout, but the only thing I'm struggling with, because I don't want to be that guy with this, because it is, I reacted like it, it's an all-time moment. But so because Cena won the match off his own. Like, off his own back, to be fair. So how was Rock meant to know Cena was going to win and be in that ring?
Over
exactly, yeah.
At that exact moment and get curb stomped.
And I'm being the tit in the room here, I'm sorry, but it is. I had that thought in my mind. Yeah, it is right, though. It was whoever was in the ring was going to turn, but surely they had to be in cahoots. So that's the only thing I'll say about it, like, from that point of view.
Well, Rock just backs winning horses, doesn't he? I.e. Cena, who's not won a match in ages.
But who cares?
I think you can go 2 ways. No. And if you're gonna say it's a great story, should have this stuff taken care of. But no, I'll do it for them. I don't think it's hard to retcon that too, because I think you can either say, you can go 1 or 2 ways with it, can't you? That, like, if Cena hadn't managed to take advantage of that with Punk, then maybe Rock was going to come out then. Maybe Travis Scott was going to drop whatever, the weird incense thing he was going to do through the middle of the cage, and they had a whole plan, but Cena happened to win out on its own. Or you wreck on it and say, Rock said to Cena, listen, John, you've been fucking crap lately, mate. Both in kayfabe and non-kayfabe terms. Like, you need to sort it out. And you need to take over. And he gave him the pep talk of all pep talks. And he was like, you can be my guy if you win this match.
Yeah.
And then John won it. Like, there's 2 ways you can go there. They're not great. And obviously, yes, that's the other giveaway, that this was not a genius plan that was thought of months ago. This is something they put together, I would bet, in very recent times. But you can make the pieces fit, and you can make it make sense when it's executed as well as it is here. And that's the thing as well. Like, again, the execution of it was brilliant. It was very 2025. It was very. Have you heard people talking about it on our Discord? Say, like, Wade Keller was very negative on it. Kind of seeing it as not really heat. Kind of seeing it as, it's what Dwayne does, isn't it? Like, look at Dwayne. Look at outside of that. Look at, like, he does these angles. And then he goes to the presser afterwards and he just talks as Dwayne Johnson. And he talks about how they put the angle together and stuff. And there's still press members who can't help but ask kayfabe questions, but he doesn't want to answer kayfabe questions. He wants to tell you this entire thing is a work. He wants to tell you that he plays a baddie on telly. And that was true last year, wasn't it? That was like the magic of last year's WrestleMania season, was that, like, Dwayne was just so entertaining. I don't think anyone really hates them. It's whether there even is such a thing as real heat now. Maybe that would be preferable. In an alternate universe, real heat where we really hate the baddies would be preferable. But the world we live in now, people are watching it, and Dwayne is probably right, watching it, want to be entertained by Dwayne and wanting to be taken along with it. And you see that in the reactions to this segment. People aren't, I don't think there's going to be visceral heat for Cena. If anything, this is the first time in Cena's career in a very long time. Universally, apart from you, people mostly like him. And I think people are going to enjoy it. And they're going to play along. And whether that's real heat or not, I think the idea is so clever and going to be so, hopefully going to be performed as well as Dwayne stuff was last year, that I think everyone's going to enjoy it enough that they're going to pay attention. Maybe that's the new way, Maybe the old way, you made more money with pure baby faces and pure heels and pure hatred selling tickets. Maybe that's the right way. But the way they've done it last year, it sold more tickets, didn't it? Like, you just look at the ticket sales across that WrestleMania period and the general interest in the product. I think you can do that again with a genuinely entertaining, intriguing baddie combination, which will be The Rock and John Cena going forwards. How they execute it is something we can get into, but I think that's almost the new way, and that might be a travesty for some, but I think it's the way they're telling stories now, and I think that's could you say it's not effective when we saw something as good as we saw last night?
But this is the thing going forward, Ben. It's like I'm conflicted in a way because I'm thinking, and to be fair to Cody, like it's still the certain markets we always think of. He hasn't had boos yet. He hasn't. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't. But in certain segments with a Jacob Fatu, who's like the fans are connecting to, he's had people getting as cheered, as him. Do you know what I mean? As much as him. Whereas Cena here, to be fair to Cody, if Cena was going to turn heel at this point and in this WWE, it's got to be against Cody Rhodes to get the heat that you're saying that mightn't be there, but actual boos. But then if we're going forward towards WrestleMania, and I'll say it no matter who Cody was up against, if Cena pulls this off like you say, and it's amazing, he could be getting cheered on the night, Benno, John Cena. It's just the way it goes. But I don't know. It's going to be fascinating either way to see how because once again, you're always the follow-up guy, and it's right in most of the time, Ben. I want to see how they follow this up.
I'm excited for the follow-up.
Yeah, that's it. It's got to be a different presentation. He can't wrestle in the jorts again. He can't. It's just got to be some sort of new twist on it. It's got to be though, Ben. He can't.
Does it though? That's my worry with him. That his mindset will be, and Rock kind of alluded to it at the presser, will be, where's the real heat? It can be keeping the jorts and keeping the hat and keeping the dopey t-shirt.
But he come in the press conference like that, didn't he? Though?
Yeah.
I know he might.
And
I was like, oh.
I like that though, because everyone else was not kayfabe, which is the way pressers should be. But if he was going to be kayfabe, rather than embarrass himself, just dropping the mic and walking off was a good way of doing it. But it did give me a little bit of a warning sign that, I don't know if he's going to actually change that element of it up. I hope he does, because I watched them on... I'm an old man, I'm 40 at this point, Matty. I shouldn't be watching such things, but I saw Kai Cenat's Twitch stream that I'd seen her on it. And, they're just like, young lads, aren't they, fucking around and like, messing around with wearing stuff kids wear, and John Cena's in the room, like in a stuffy suit and a stuffy tie. And it's like, there might be a heel in that. The problem is that's Cody's babyface character, but there might be a heel in that or some version of that, or maybe alluding to the fact that he's like the like I say, the alternate Spider-Man to Cody's babyface Spider-Man. Heels like the Cena becomes the heel version of that. I am hoping for that more, something a bit creative for him to have genuinely had all these ideas these last 15 years, and now he's finally allowed to do it. Like, remember the rumors that he had heel gear made at one point, and then
heel
he had,
theme.
2015 was it? He had an idea, he had like a heel theme.
He's got to change the music, Ben. He's got to keep the intro with the horns, but it's got to kick into. It's got to be done like. Because how can you have
follow the Dwayne Sven, please? Follow what he did last year. Just do
exactly. He's just a little tweaks. I mean, Rock took it too far with the gear, which I will mention that gear again in a bit properly. Because fucking hell, what the fuck was it? He was like a Dracula meets Elvis meets fucking. Honestly, what the fuck was he wearing, though, Ben? It all adds to that midlife.
The glasses in it.
Yeah, but he's thinking it's cool. I hope he's thinking like he's adding this midlife thing. But if he's thinking this is great and cool, Jesus Christ, he's delusional. But back to Cena, it's like you want to. Don't get me wrong, I'm way more up because I've said on Spotlights when I've been on, I couldn't have had 7 weeks of happy John Cena v Cody build up. So at least we're getting this element of it. But even if Cena's not there for all the build, I think Cody's going to be good. I'm going to give Cody big credit. I think he's going to sell this great, Benno. He's going to come out with a passion.
No one else could.
Exactly. Despondent promo into passion eventually a few weeks later. It's just if Cena's not there, and you just having Cody do that. I'm very intrigued of how they do angles, of how they do back and forths, even just seeing his character on his own doing stuff. It's just going to be fucking... I can't wait.
2 points there. We definitely need to get to Travis Scott, but like on Cody, I know he's not to your taste, but like he's the only modern babyface who can do this. Like he's Sting, isn't he? He's early 90s Sting.
He loves the wrestling side, but I've never
I suppose you know what? I shouldn't say only. Sami Zayn could pull that off too if he was in the situation. He wouldn't be.
Just not as big as he. Not as big.
Yeah, but like, pulling that off, like being that downtrodden babyface whose friends always bloody turn on him, and he's always a bit of a sucker, but he's just so sympathetic and he's so good at selling and he's so good at coming back from it that he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine from taking this beat down, from not seeing it coming, from being turned on by not only Dwayne, but also John Cena, back to back in basically one segment. And Travis Scott, who last we checked was Jey Uso's best mate, but apparently isn't anymore. Like, Cody's the only man who can pull this off. And he can, and again, like I say, whether it's real heat or play along heat or whatever, I mean, it's like Breaking Bad, isn't it? People watch it and go, and people, Sopranos, you think Tony Soprano's the funniest character of all time. You cheer along for him, you know, you're entertained by it.
Yeah.
But when it's in a wrestling setting, you need that sympathetic other side of the baddie / goodie to bring you back to earth and to have enough goodwill with the crowd to still pull off a wrestling match where Cena's going to have to fill that heel role, and Cody's going to have to fit that babyface role, and he can, and there's not many who could, and he's going to pull this off. I really believe it.
Like I say, we're flip-flopping a bit. Yeah, I'm flip-flopping, but I thought Cena, to give me even hope for the match itself, Ben, because I know you've been down on that when they actually get in it. I thought Cena looked as good as he has done in years last night, and it mightn't be perfect.
When he was with Punk.
But even in his timing is always there still. Give him that. It's with the execution of some of the moves, but yeah, back to Cody there. He can, Ben, but it's just like maybe you can feel like that the cat. He'll have to do a face-to-face with Seth and Punk. Punk kind of like, you know, I told you I was the only one who'd stab you in the front. You're having this, so we can do stuff like that. Other characters can get behind it, because I'm thinking, you know, he's not a Steve Austin type, is he? I know babyfaces always overcome the odds in the end, but he's not a Steve Austin type where he can just go and steamroll Rock, steamroll Cena. Like, is he going to need help going into WrestleMania? Is someone going to be on his side? Is he going to have someone in the corner if Dwayne's there? I don't know how they're going to do all that. So it's intriguing across the board for me, Ben, how they're going to fucking get to WrestleMania. Like, and afterwards,
where do you think with Cena the nugget of the idea come from for this? Do you think it, like I say, this does feel like last minute, but was it something he had a burning desire to do anyway? You know, this is my last.
I would
chance
definitely would have the regret. Yeah,
turn.
maybe.
And again, I don't think it's going to be quite the same as if he did in his peak. If he'd turnn then, I think that would have been something more. That would be traditional wrestling heel heat. I think there was money on the table that they left on the table. This is something different. This is just a better, more entertaining way to do Cena Cody to me. I honestly think by the end of it, like if Cena's a babyface again before he retires, I think that's 100%. Probably expect that, shouldn't he?
100%. He's
going to be so. He's probably going to do the Rock thing, where he's going to be so entertaining that it's going to be easy to forgive him at the end of this. No matter what dastardly stuff he does with Cody, he's going to switch back around, isn't he? By the time we get to November, December.
But no, I'm thinking even all sorts, Ben. I mean, if Cena wins at WrestleMania, then obviously he's going to continue. But I'm serious here. If Cody goes over, this could be Hollywood Hogan stuff at Rock. I wouldn't be surprised if they're hugging and shaking hands at the end of the match, Benno, and Cena's back, baby.
If Cena goes over, or Cody?
If Cody goes over, honestly. If Cena goes over, he goes the heel champion for a bit. No, Cena, this won't be a long run as a heel. Either way, he'll be back faced by SummerSlam. That's just.
Could he win the title as the heel?
He could, yeah, he could. Because, saying that actually...
Maybe. I don't put a lot of stock in that. I don't see that.
No,
I see this as
actually, I'm thinking on area. I think he'll lose, and it'll be part of the story where he's tried everything. He's come back. He's tried to win the Rumble. He's actually won the Chamber. He thought, I've got to sell out to win this title. That didn't even get him across the line. And then he'll go back to like wanting the fans. There's lots you can do. There's lots you can do with that. As you say, it mightn't be the greatest thought out thing, but I think they'll nail the landing in the end with Cena's retirement. But as I say, this is just a curveball that we didn't expect this early, if ever, in this run. But I think he should have done it. I think he would have had regrets though. What if I should have just done it? And that's why it might be a short run, because he's thinking, well, at least to give it a go before the end.
Just to dip his toe in.
Yeah.
And do it. And people say that, they forget, you know, the song that opened us there, you know, and Dr. Thugonomics and all that. He was a heel very early on.
He was a heel. He was.
But not as the John Cena that he would become, obviously. It's a very different like period in his career. I mean, yeah, I think with Cena, I think he probably always wanted to do this. He's getting to do it. We're going to see how many ideas he's got, how much commitment he's going to give to it. And hopefully it's more commitment than he's given, you know, to his matches till this point. Like you say, the Punk interactions at the Chamber did give
you hope.
Make me a little bit more positive. When do you think Travis Scott's involvement came up? Like, that was the most random thing, wasn't it? Like, I was. Is he aware that he came out with Jey Uso? Is he aware he's been on the TV? Because he's very clear. Like, I was literally on our Discord last night going, "What is Travis Scott doing?" And I don't think it's talking out of turn to say, I mean, he was doing Dennis Rodman, wasn't he? Like, he was literally Dennis Rodman with a cigar, like with the smoke coming up, stood next to Hogan. He was doing exactly that with Rock. Except, what was it he had? Was it like incense or like kind of, I don't really understand. I don't think it was weed. I think it was like, smellies or whatever. Like he was trying to like bless the situation or whatever. But like he's watching it and like, oh, again, Rock and Triple H are talking about him in the presser. For all intents and purposes, not fully being there that day, and kind of it felt like he went into business with himself a little bit.
Cena have to do stuff about it. Did you watch it closely?
Yeah.
When
he's slapping Cody.
No, not even that, because he went into business there. It's the fact of when, and Cena done well without calling an audible on it. He stuck to his heel stick, Cena. When Cena's got him by the legs, and Scott's just meant to hold his arms out to whip. Travis Scott's trying to lift him up to get him into his face, to call him out as in like George at him. Cena just forcefully pushes Cody head down as if to like telling him, but like protecting what they're going to do in the angle. So I respect, obviously, mastering his Cena. Not going to give him that. He's been around the block. He knows what to do. But I like that. But he wasn't with it, Travis Scott, through all of it. He was just not there. And was the Rock there, Ben?
Wasn't he more than anything?
Just for that attire, Ben, I've got to go back to that, lad. I mean, I'm making a big deal out of it. What the fuck was it, Ben? You give it? Are we fashionable?
Like, what? That's what Rock wears, isn't it?
No, Ben, it is. No, it was a step over. It was a step over the line. It was what the fuck was it? Yeah, the flares. Did you not get onto the flares?
He was wearing flares last Mania, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, but these were like. They're flary wrestling pants that you can just like flip off. These were full on like fucking Elvis. Honest to God, it was comeback Elvis meets Dracula meets I don't know what. But yeah, I just couldn't get away from that. But I think it's more exposure as well with Travis Scott in there, isn't it? It's this version of WWE which, is not to everyone's taste, and sometimes it can even do my head in when they go over the top. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and it's like they just want more eyeballs on it, don't they? It's a big moment anyway, and they're thinking with Travis Scott and The Rock and this heel turn combined, they're going to get more eyes on it and publicity. So that's what I'm guessing.
You got a YouTube video that says Travis Scott's in it, haven't you? Like
exactly.
To add to it, and apparently, according to Sean Ross Sapp today, he has been training to wrestle as well. And Travis, I'm sure Drake was sat in the front row thinking, that could be me. I don't know whether they'd be a heel or a babyface in Toronto at this point. Might have been mixed, like it's mixed for Cena and Rock, so maybe you would have fit. But it's still it's
random. Don't get me wrong, it is random. It's because even when he come up with Jey Uso, you get that because it's part of the entrance and then he was nowhere to be seen in the ring kind of thing. He was doing the Yeet with Jay. That's fine. This is like him actually actively getting involved in angles, getting his hands on wrestlers. Yeah.
Will's biggest Make-A-Wish kid, wasn't he? It was like, honestly, I was watching it going, remember when in 99, 2000, how much you'd kill to walk out with The Rock while his music played? He was living that dream with his crap hardcore belt at the same time. But I just think, like, if it does lead to, like, some kind of weird celebrity match, that's one thing. But, like, it could be one of those things where in, like, 3 years, we're watching the footage back on, remember that great angle? And you forget every time you put it back on that Travis Scott's just randomly stood in the background, getting a few stiff digs in. Yeah. And they were stiff. Like, Cody looked bruised up, mainly from Travis Scott and the weight belt, obviously, on top of it as well. But yeah, it really was. It was really well delivered. We are in a weird place where, like you say, that can happen, and then Rock can go out and just completely break kayfabe like 10 minutes later in the press and stuff. But I think people are going to be along for the ride, and it's going to be so entertaining. Hopefully, if Cena can pull it off, that it'll be fine.
It's what we say about Dwayne though all the time. Like, and it's not. I'm saying like we've watched him for nearly 30 years as an actual wrestler. When he comes in, if he stops the blabbling and the waffling and the fucking arsing about, he got there last year with the final boss. Like, he's such a great wrestling character because he knows it. Like he says, how many times have you heard him say on that press he was doing me and saying, I'm born in this business. We know, we genuinely know, like, you know what I mean? I know there's new eyeballs coming to it and such, but he's lived it all his life. He knows what to do when it comes to an angle, when he's actually in that wrestling mode. It's just the arsing about that comes with it, Ben, that he needs to just rein it in ever so slightly, which he did last night, which, again, why it was better than what he's been on TV. And as you say, he's trying to piece all that together as part of it. I said before, is that true? And it probably is. All that arsing about just needs to go. It just needs to fucking go.
No, he was brilliant, and like I said, I don't buy that when he, last did the cutthroat veteran or the 3 count when that's it was like Jey Uso, Roman, and someone else, and any of it was really this master plan. But he made it feel like it did because it was so great in the moment, when he did it. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, there was a lot of talk. It's all Bash at the Beach, 96 with Hogan in the end of it. I'm not sure it's that, but it's one of the most wildly entertaining and genuinely surprising segments that I've seen in in a long time. And yeah, the key is going to be the follow-up. The key is going to be how they get to the match and how they fill the TV now. But how much for WrestleMania season feeling a little bit drab and a little bit confused, probably because of Rock's politicking and the stuff going on. It does feel bigger now. Feels more exciting. And who thought they could get you excited?
Yeah.
You of all people about John Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
That's the only way, Ben.
You're back in.
That's the only way. Like, even if it was babyface and they had that old school, like, you know, he eventually cracks in and they started throwing jibes at each other. That wouldn't have been enough for me. I would have honestly been like the main event this, and I would have got swept up on the night, of course, because I'm imagining now, can't you, when you're in the stadium and stuff like that. But this for me now was like just went from like a fucking 4 to like an 8, Ben, because I just can't wait now. Like I'm fully behind Cena. I'm fully behind John Cena.
That's not the lesson you're supposed to. You might be the great case study here. Cody's the babyface, mate.
No, Ben, heels, mate. Heels all the way, but it's one of them.
That's the way there.
Let's give it this. I'm on Cena, but if Cody can deliver, which we said he will, and he would be
always
one of the
does,
only things that does. He might sway me before thing, but I think Cena's gonna. Well, fingers crossed, Cena's gonna be that entertaining and that. But like you said, Dave, and you mentioned like the Make-A-Wish stuff. Like, how much is he gonna go for it? Like, is he gonna be a Rock where it's like, but I still do that on the side, but I'm playing this wrestling. I hope he dives in, even for a month, Benno, even like a Shawn Michaels against Hogan stuff. Just be that heel, and then just go back to that the night after even. I'd take that at this point. I would. I want all in.
Can he get a tan and sort that bald spot as well? I'm sorry. Like, you know, it's...
The tan, though.
Or maybe he shouldn't be for the heat. Maybe he shouldn't.
I said in our Discord, as a terrible man once said, he's become the human jar of mayonnaise. And yeah, he was the one who said that about Sheamus fucking 15 years ago. How ironic.
There you go.
Fucking hell.
Oh, let's back together. But yeah, I'm excited for it. And yeah, Hamlet sent me a message last night going, Vegas, Dan. I don't think I'm that far along. I still don't think I'm booking those flights, but I'm definitely more in tune in the road to WrestleMania. But we have to start there if we're talking this show. Any more on the angle itself? We'll circle back around to the match, but anything more on the angle itself, the people involved, any other thoughts quickly? Just
that, Ben. Just like it is. It's like it's just an all-time moment. We've been like waiting to happen, really, or maybe that we'd never think that would happen ever again at this point in the game. So it had that shock value. The execution was great. Plays into, like, you know, as you say, and it makes you want to see what's coming next, which is the ultimate goal, isn't it? Like, you've seen something like this, you want to tune in, you want to see what's to come, and you're building up a main event at WrestleMania with it. It's just cannot wait to see what happens. Great stuff.
Rarefied air, as Dwayne kept saying over and over and over again.
Unlike him.
We'll circle back around to the match and some of the other fallout of the other characters in there. But yeah, talking the show itself, and it was a very, very enjoyable show. It was. I'm glad I came over to Belfast for it and watched it with Steph. It was definitely one to watch in a party atmosphere. I think your Steph fell asleep, didn't she, before that main event?
I woke her up jumping around the living room like so.
What was her reaction? What was she?
She was that, you know, when you're actually that knackered where like she instantly fell back asleep, and I was like, no, listen, come on, get over here. But she's more interested to see, obviously she's accompanying me to WrestleMania. She wants to know what fights are on as well. So, and then by the time I woke her up, I explained everything, and I watched it back with her properly this morning. So it was all good.
You'd be proud. My Steph thinks this is the end of AEW, and WWE
really?
Just that you can't stop them now. Maybe not that far. I'm putting words in her mouth, I think.
Love that.
Yeah, it was a very for even the people who didn't like it. I'm sure we've got listeners who hate this type of stuff, who hate. You know, it's two old men in it. It's Rock and Cena taking all the spotlight, and it all being about them. I can see the negatives. I can see people in our base going, "That's not what I want out of wrestling. That's not what I want." Could you do it better than this if you want to do it?
I agree to an extent, but then I'll always just go, it's something that happened that has, you know, like you said, these basic thugonomics. It's massive, even to the people who, I don't think there'll be many that'll sneer it because it is too old brigade. I think it's just the way, because it's something that hasn't been seen and you've been clamouring and never thought to see again. I think that'll tip them and go, all right, at least it's that.
When have you last seen like people like our group be that arsed about spoilers? Like,
I know
WWE happening, you know, like
one of the only things you can
tells you there's an investment there. I mean, it's not quite Cope and Mox, you know. Obviously, we'll be talking about when we get to AEW on the next show, me and JP. But yeah, a foreign equivalent goes. I don't think you could ask for much more, and then we'll see what comes from there. But we'll circle back round to that. Like I said, was it an enjoyable show? You know, top to bottom, newsworthy show, absolutely. Yeah. Moments upon moments, to be fair to them.
Definitely.
Like I say, all seem to be saved up for this incredible, I would say, Toronto crowd. Felt a little bit quiet at moments, but I just think that's
a sweet
to me, making excuses for them. I think so.
Yeah.
38,000 people there. It's a gigantic place, and I just don't think the noise was ever kind of in one place or was captured something felt off. You could see people visually reacting to stuff, but it didn't quite come through in the sound mix. But it looked like they were rowdy. Yeah. I was jealous I wasn't there. I wish I was still in Toronto for it. But yeah, they were hot from the start, including the heat that the American national anthem got. That Pat McAfee could not let go throughout the entire night. But yeah, the heat was there for the open of the show, which was I wouldn't want to say a similar angle, but did anyone see this come on when it comes to the women's show? Good. We kicked things off with Jade Cargill. You know what though, as well, I thought the worst, because when Jade came out, it felt like she was a little bit like, again, production, or maybe it was her. She felt like she was stood in the wrong place, or she kind of almost looked like she was tripping on her way out. And then she got to the cage, didn't she? And I think she thought the door was closed. Then she tried to open an invisible door. And I was like, we're having one of these nights, aren't we, Jade? We're having one of these nights.
That's the meme of Triple H taking the invisible T-shirt off against Batista, isn't it? That'll do the rounds for years, that.
And I honestly thought, we're having one of those nights where Jade, makes a couple of those 2 left foot mistakes. Everett after it was literal perfection. Like Everett after it was exactly what Jade Cargill. She looked like an absolute killer. And whoever came up with the idea of all of this taking place and her attacking Naomi while Bianca Belair was locked in the pod. Like, whatever you think about these hokey Elimination Chamber matches, and I've got things to say about them and the sound effects and it not always being for me this match, to come up with that idea for that angle, and stop me if they've done it before. I can't think of a time they've done it before. But it was superb, like in execution from that moment onwards, from the start of the beatdown to the end. And some of the physicality in that beatdown as well. It was a very violent show, actually, top to bottom. Once we get to Sami and Kevin Owens, there's a lot there too. It was just brilliant and exactly what Jade needed in this moment. And again, added intrigue to something that I don't think anybody had intrigue in going in.
Yeah, and to elaborate on what actually happened, Ben, is like Naomi and Liv Morgan are the two to start off, and then you get Jade coming out, and the way it's been built on TV lately is that, like, we've seen the security footage of Liv and Raquel walking away from the incident on the night where Jade got found. So obviously the way it's planned out, you're expecting Jade to take out Liv Morgan, who's selling great as well, like fearing the worst that she's going to get it, and then when she just turned and just absolutely beat the shit out of Naomi. I was on my feet again. Well, straight away. That's the first of the night. I was on my feet.
Liv Morgan was underrated actually in the segment. To be fair,
I'd tell you what, we're going about Liv Morgan. I've said it she has been one of the most.
And the way she enjoyed it afterwards too.
I was way down on Liv Morgan last year before she hooked up with Dom, and then ever since she's hooked up, she's just improved a millionfold in every aspect. Even in the ring, she's improved a lot. But Jade, like, as you say, Ben, the beating was something else. The scissor kick into the pod. But then the best bit about it was like you and this is, once again, Jade Cargill, who's relatively, like, a rookie in sense of putting these things together. Closing the door on Naomi's head in the elimination. That spot I don't think's ever been done, Benno. It's usually the steel cage door where you're swinging it. This is like where you're fucking ragging it. Unbelievable.
It looked gimmicked, didn't it? Where it was going to stop at a certain point and she had to be at the exact place to pull it off. But margin of error for her was still quite small. They nailed it.
Like Naomi was great in as well, selling and stuff like that. And as you say, the cherry on top of the cake was Bianca, like banging on the pod and just in absolute shock of what's going on and couldn't do nothing about it. That was just great stuff. And once again, it's the aftermath. We don't know the match because obviously it plays it. Bianca's won the match and she's going against Rhea or Io. Do we get Naomi and Jade Cargill at WrestleMania? Do you give them like 5 minutes to have a match and pay this off? Or is it part of a bigger picture where Jade's got it wrong or Naomi's part of a master plan with the group? Once again, I'm intrigued. I want to see what they follow up with this. It's good stuff.
Jade got it wrong, I think, is the way they're going. We'll see how the heel face alignments come after that, because a lot of people were expecting a Naomi turn, weren't they? Maybe it still goes there at some points as well. The only negative for this for me was like, as all the execution was brilliant. Like I
know what
say,
you're gonna
all
say.
the little side guys were brilliant. Forgot about it 20 minutes later.
When she would, yeah.
They literally asked her about it, don't they, in the presser?
Yeah.
Yeah, where she had to be like, oh, yeah, I just have a lot going on. Just like, because by the end of it, she's celebrating and it's all about, ooh, is she going to face Rhea?
Face off, yeah.
She's facing Rhea, let's just all be honest. That's where
triple threat, Benno. I reckon triple threat.
What is it with them in these triple threats right now? It'll end up being a triple threat with Cena, Rock, and Cody with the way they're booking right now.
Roman, Chef, and Punk's a triple threat, Benno. That's the triple threat. Like,
fuck off. We'll get there. Just fuck off. More Punk and Seth. Nobody asked for it. But yeah, that was a slight negative, but different. 20 minutes later, adrenaline. I suppose you can explain it away, but we shouldn't gloss over the match itself. I really thought this was good.
Really
the
good.
women's chamber. I think everybody had a good role to play. There were a ton of creative spots in there. Mostly, to be honest, Bianca was, as well as winning it, as well as being key in the opening angle, most of the creative spots kind of came with her, especially the stuff with her hair, which I was today years old when I found out wasn't real, Matty. I'm just an idiot. I was like, of course, it's not real. What are you on about? No one's hair's that long. I was like, oh yeah, I suppose it isn't, is it? I think I maybe made that confession before and then forgot again and remembered again. But the way they used that for like a couple other spots, and again, the physicality of it, like genuine bruises we saw on Alexa and such in there as well. Really well laid out match, I thought, and it was way higher than the bar I had set for it in my head.
Oh, 100%. And everyone had the chance to shine as well, because I think when Alexa Bliss come in, I was like, when's Alexa Bliss been this smooth and good in the ring? Like, honestly, genuinely, because you're used to their character work, which people are hot and cold
she's
on.
Not.
I know, but
she had some good moments, but she's not.
No, she started great though when she come in, and then she dropped off a bit. It must have been the adrenaline, because I think she did come in like dead smooth for me in all the spots. Bailey was there, obviously, as your glue as well. Roxanne Perez had their chance to shine. She nailed it. But Liv Morgan for me, I mean, Bianca was great, don't get me wrong. Liv Morgan was the MVP of this match. She was fucking there for everything, taking stuff. Like, she's a bumper. She's got better in the ring. Even a character now I'm fine with. Like, even the annoying laugh is part of the stick. I'm just all in on Liv Morgan. Genuinely, for someone who didn't fucking rate it at all, she's won me over big time, and she was the MVP of this one. But overall, way better than it had any right to be for me, because, as you say, that's been one of the flaws, really, at Triple H's stuff about the women. But then when you do put Liv in there, who has been featured, Roxanne's new, Bailey's there, Bianca and Naomi are at the story. Maybe it was us that was a bit. It should have been, and it was good.
Sometimes the stars align. Like, you compare this to, I mean, the other big pay-per-views where there's a men's version and a women's version. War Games, men's completely watched the women's, didn't they? Rumble, men's completely watched the women's, didn't they? It's closer on this night.
Definitely.
You could probably give the nod to the women.
Either way, definitely. Definitely.
And brutality-wise, like I say, those welts on a belly, where it was just like, it was right round to her back, wasn't it? It was disgusting. It was awful, but it was, fucking hell. That's what this match should be. I miss, when they had the cage on the outside instead of the mats. I miss that, because people just get genuinely hurt. I'm sure the wrestlers don't miss it, but like,
because they were still trying to say it was steel on commentary. They were still trying to say it's steel. It just wasn't, was it? You know what I mean? Like, it was just, it generally is. Just
all it is.
Yeah.
But I thought they booked it in a way that everyone felt like they got something out of it. Even, like I say, Bailey just feels massively lost in the shuffle. We talked about it. Obviously, we went on weekend show and preview, and it was like, well, she's not winning because, like, she's just been so haphazard in her booking, Bailey, over the last few years. And I think Bianca Belair, you could actually make the same arguments, but it felt like they were going to use this match to correct it. And I think they did. And obviously, it's where they should be. Like, I don't know if you're with me, but I just think Bianca Belair should be head and shoulders above this one. I'm sure you'd say Lottie instead, but I think she should be head and shoulders above this women's division. It should be pushed like this and should be the focus of it all. And Aaron Rhea, if that's where they go, rather than the three-way, it would be my preference.
I think it's one of them with Bianca. You're saying she should be the main champion.
And he would be a good match too, obviously.
She is always featured and kept their momentum. I think she could have, obviously, if anyone's pushed as the champion, it's more, but she's over enough, she's likeable enough, she's good enough to keep that overness. And the tag team titles, she's doing that. She will, obviously, she's back around now, because as I say, Bailey as well, she had their moment last year with the damage control and winning the title off Io Sky, so he kind of goes year to year, Triple H, about giving someone the moment. But obviously with Lottie coming back there, it's about if she actually does the job at WrestleMania against Tiffany Stratton, which I wouldn't hold my breath against, but it is. Bianca does deserve this, and I think it's a fresh match. Like, definitely at a big pay-per-view like that, it's a fresh match. But once again, Ben, it's two baby faces going at it, like, and the build-up will be probably, you know, she'll get dragged into the Jade and Naomi as she's distracted and stuff going into that match, so I get that. But ultimately, it is two baby faces going at it who are love. So one of them's going to get drowned out, aren't they, on the night?
No,
so
usually the way it goes. But yeah, surprised how much I enjoyed that opener. Was not surprised how throwaway the second match was.
Oh, it was. I mean,
did
anyone think it was going to be great?
And Trish. Well, why is it on the show? Like, I guess Trish is your answer, but like,
exactly.
It's a four-match show against Nia Jax and obviously and Candice LeRae again, Canadian, which I don't think I realized until this weekend, and it came up in one of our chats. But like, I don't think this needs to be on the card, but if it was on the card, this was the spot for it, because I don't think anyone was paying attention to it outside the odd Trish spot, and it was bland as dishwater, wasn't it? There was not. Is that a phrase? Bland as dishwater? There was nothing. There was nothing.
Dull as dishwater.
Dull as dishwater. That's what I was going for.
It is better, and I'll argue for and against it. Probably it is obviously there for Trish Stratus. You're getting that visual of Trish and Tiffany Stratton, the past and the. So you're getting, that's what they're going for, aren't they? With Tiffany, Charlotte, Trish, it's like the fucking future versus like the now versus the past kind of thing. They're trying to do that with the visuals and hooking them all up
Which
together.
part of Charlotte?
In different... She's the present, fellow. / past / future. She's all three, if you ask me.
Could she be present for this feud? That might help.
But that's not here, is it? But anyway.
Did you hear the commentary? Jesus Christ.
But what I will say is, I get why it was on there because of Trish, etc. But there was just no substance. There was, even after the match, if you want Charlotte to come out and attack Trish, and Tiffy can't do nothing about it, do something. Do you know what I mean? But you know, that's for me. There's just no substance to it at all, other than it's Trish Stratus. You're meant to give Tiffy that rub going into WrestleMania that she's like, add this with her idol. She'll move on to one of her other idols, but.
I just don't think it was a pay-per-view spot. I think this was a SmackDown match instead of whatever they did on SmackDown. I know Trish got the nice applause, but outside of that, just hasn't been good creatively, this entire thing. But
well, we've got 6 weeks to go, Ben. We'll see. Let it play out.
6 more weeks of this. That's the problem, innit? A match. I think that's all you can really say about that one. Into the spot where I think this was where the Rock segment was rumoured to be.
Meant to be the original leaked lineup, format.
It's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which I think going in, we were definitely surprised was on this show. Probably shouldn't have been, considering it's a massive Canadian show and it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So that's your argument for having it here. I still think I would have preferred it being the WrestleMania match. I was surprised to read how much Hamlet wasn't into this. I think they still delivered. I think in the match, I think it was very indie, both in execution and in some of the spots they did. Like, I was surprised they got away with some of the spots they did, some of the chair shot stuff, some of the, Kevin's Sammy's face landed on the side of chairs, and the multiple spots they did like that. The brawl in the crowd. It was a good tribute to their indie stuff, to their PWG and their ROH stuff, which obviously we've watched in a very recent vintage. And I think it outdid maybe my worries about it, and my worries were definitely founded a little bit when we got this Tony Khan-esque lights out situation, which again felt overthought, felt a little bit gimmicky, felt a bit much, but I think the work overcome it. I think the violence overcome it, and I think these two are just so undeniable that with a few things against them, they leaned into things that was going for them, which was being in front of this Toronto crowd, making use of the space that they have, and doing a lot of tributes to old spots, coming up with new stuff, and dragging this to a really good place. Thought it was a very, very, very entertaining and again, very violent spectacle with these two.
See, I spoke to Hamlet myself about this one because I did see he wasn't big on it, and I messaged him, and it was like, I landed in the middle. I agree with him at the start because I thought it was just a bit plodding at the start, a bit like typical weapony WWE going under the ring. I've seen it all before. I wanted a bit more grit. I wanted a bit more violence, and I got there in the end. Don't get me wrong, it turned when, there was a few spots where it turned when they started going through the open chairs for me with the head and arm suplexes over and stuff like that was like fucking hell. And then that Blue Thunder onto the barbed wire chair is one of my favourite spots I've seen in fucking years. That was unbelievable stuff. Like that was just, and the drop to old Kevin selling and his face was just, maybe even just a little bit of blood there, just to add it. Yeah, it was to quote a podcast we've just done, but it got there in the end. So I expected a bit more, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't bad or it wasn't boring. You know what I mean? At the end, it turned into what it needed to be. Plus, it's set up. You got all the stuff with you know, the power bombs on the apron. Kevin was always going to go over. You had the tease after it. Got to
talk about those power bombs on the apron before we get to the post match. Like for me, like fuck me, like this sums these two up though, doesn't it? Like, because I think my going in, I just assumed. And I didn't bet on this one. I wish I had, but I was assuming Owens was going over.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was the reason was he's just got the more important WrestleMania match, and it shouldn't be the case. Again, can't make the point enough. This should probably just be the WrestleMania match with the two of them. But if he's got Orton and whatever Sami Zayn's doing, and the rumors don't look great on what he's potentially doing, carry on cross. Jesus Christ. Like, I'm sure, awful. But like, I think if you're going to do that, you have to put Owens over strong. And I thought wrongly they were going to have Orton playing to the finish, and there was going to be some kind of nonsense, but Orton might end up attacking the wrong person, and that's how Owens ends up winning, or like some other way to get to that point. But I think what they did instead was just Owens just overcome Zayn, didn't he? He was willing to be more violent because that is his character. Similar to Cody, you can get away with that with Sami. Not many baby faces, they might be the two actually, but like not many in the world you can get away with this, where you can beat him down like this, and I think you'll be fine. But like, have the power bombs on the apron, like especially the one that they botched, where just didn't get him up high enough, did he? Two of the wrestlers might have just left it at that, but they know each other well enough that Zayn played like he'd fought out of it, didn't he? Yeah. Got him up again. Did it again, and it just fit into that story to the match. Definitely. Just fit into that. Owens is just overpowering me, and he's too much, and he's too motivated. And I guess you can go back to it again, because I'm sure we will. It's one of those guarantees in life, isn't it? We are going to go back to it again, and I think Owens needed that in the moment, and it bled into the post match really good. But I thought him especially, I thought he was just soaking her up out there in front of the Canadian crowd.
He was, and he needed that in a way, because I know Sami Zayn hasn't been on a tear at the minute, but as you say, that plays into his overall character, where Kevin Owens has been beaten. He's not Solo Sikoa levels, Benno, but he's been beaten into the ground. His last pay-per-view wins, like something like scared like 2 years ago on his own in a singles match, or maybe even longer. It's been that long since he loses every big singles he's in, like, so he needed that as well from that point of view, as you say, going into the match at WrestleMania. So it was, as I say, it got there in the end, but it was really fucking good by the end. I loved some of the stuff, and Kevin Owens, this character has been amazing, and it just plays into the story of what happened. Like, it makes sense. People don't like it that it's Orton and Kevin Owens, but it's something they've planned out for. It does. It's something they've planned out with the story and with the angle they set up months ago. So it's one he's always had on the back burner, Triple H. But
it was always coming back to it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were always getting there. I just don't know whether it would have been the nod for WrestleMania over just doing Owens and Zayn.
I think it's a bigger match, but it might be a better match on the night. It's a bigger match, looking at it. I don't
know if it's a bigger match.
Don't you think?
It's Randy Orton in 2025. Like, I don't know.
It's not hear the reaction, no. Did you not hear the reaction he got when he come back?
Big Dim, mate. He's been there for years. Matt Hardy comes back to Raw. He's going to get a reaction like that. No. Rhino will get a reaction like that, mate.
No. It's been even you.
He's beloved. He is.
He's at the happiest place. He's more. It's not just that now. It's that new set of fans as well, Ben. He's getting these reactions now genuinely as well, Randy Orton. So I will stick up for him on that. It's not just a return.
Which is why
he was getting them week to week when he was there.
Which is why it'd be great in a nice little undercard spot, with an up and coming heel. I get saying that's kind of what not an up and coming heel. That's kind of what this is, in fairness. But I think it's higher on the card than I would go with Orton at this point. What did you make the execution of it? Obviously, Orton knocking around in his ballies backstage, as he often wear. At least he had a hoodie with him. And Owens was well trained getting back in the ring for him.
Yeah, but it is what it is. That's always been a trope. I hate that. I hate that in any era.
It was full of
wrestlers
jokes.
being in
The RKO's to all the trainees,
yeah,
you know.
I mean that's always good to see, but I did like the fact I knew it was coming that like if Kevin Owens is taking it to the extreme with the power driver, I knew the punt was coming back, and that's going to be the payoff. It's old school wrestling 101. Is he going to punt him?
People reacted to that immediately, didn't they?
We're going to get teasers every week on TV, and hopefully the punt happens at WrestleMania as well. So modern old school. It's just wrestling 101. That, and yeah, it'll be over. That'll be a good feud, and I'm looking forward to that one.
I was annoyed at how over the punt was. That just again reminds me of a WWE I hated for 20 years. The whole thing. As soon as he made the movement, people knew what it was, and they were right into it. I wish the package power driver on the concrete had happened at that point instead. I will say, we talk about, like, say, Orton obviously hitting the RKO on all of the trainees or whatever, who did feel out of position. It felt like they rolled out the ring too early and then had to get back in and take a few. They'll be getting told off backstage, I'm pretty sure. Why was Steve Corino run out there? Having just done the Owens and Zayn, or the Jericho and Steen law. Like, if you're going to throw P.T. Williams out there, just throw Steve Corino out in a suit. I'm sure he was backstage. They could have, just for us, just for the sick. I'm not asking you to bring Jimmy Jacobs back or have Colt Cabana out there, but Carino's kind of done these angles before, hasn't it? It would have been a nice little thing just to have him.
But he got
now that here and put almost 40,000 people in Toronto, you know.
He pushed Shane Helms as well, didn't he? He was out there. Jason Jordan, Ken Doan, Kenny Dykstra was out there, and noticed. So yeah,
it's always mad when you see him because he looks about 25 still. Kenny Dykstra, he looks way too young for that job, and he probably is.
But it's like, you know, with all them, like Shane Helms, right? He had like his backstage stuff, but he was over as a character, and he had a bit of longevity there. Jason Jordan obviously got cut short by injury his career. Like Kenny Dykstra got buried by like Triple H and that, and like got sent back out the company kind of thing, and was just never
make good.
Just weird that he's there, yeah. Just
maybe feels guilty.
Yeah,
should feel guilty.
Maybe, yeah.
Ah, well, could have been a nice little moment for the sickos there, but alas, we wait. And again, I'm sure they'll wrestle again, so we'll get there at some point. But yeah, that was that. Like I say, we did. I think that's where we got the celebrity role called, didn't we? And again, no Drake, just hanging out in the crowd. Unfortunately,
was it real that Drake was there though? But was he there?
Yeah, he was behind the commentary. Yeah, there was a couple of points. There's a point where I think he thought the camera was on him, and he was like doing pistols at the camera and stuff like that, but he was just like some bloke in the front row. And
why wouldn't you put it on him though, or have a word? It was
weird.
Yeah, very weird. Because in the profile of Star, of course, fucking hell.
I only mention it because it's so strange considering it again. Travis Scott gets a main event angle, but maybe Travis is.
Have they had beef, Benno? Have they had collaboration, Scott and Drake? Like, I'm not sure.
Oh, he puts over Travis, in the Kendrick beef. He put over Travis a few times, yeah. So they're all good. So it's not that. But there we go. That was that. And again, probably was the match of the night. I'd probably say the match of the night, Owens and Zayn. Sounds like I was a bit higher on it than you, but enjoyed the lore, enjoyed the violence. But yeah, that took us into the main event. Match itself, I'm not sure on. I think long sway to this were not good, Matty. And I think it's all been forgotten because of the stuff that we naturally had to talk at the top of this little mini review. But yeah, what did you make of the match itself? Did you actually buy any of the Drew rumors going into the day? He posted a few funny memes today. The Ishii one, I'm a sad man, right? Whatever you want about me, all that. Was he punished there being eliminated first? If you want to jump right to there, or
no, I don't think. I just think they're playing into like whether it's Drew Blair in the lines, isn't it? Whether you believe it's a work or a shoot from the Royal Rumble, and they're obviously sticking. You know, we might have all got worked, or yourself got worked of like, oh, he complained at Royal Rumble, and now he's
7-1, mate. No, 6-1.
Yeah. 4-5 on the night. He 4-5 on the night, weren't he? And it was like he's complaining that much that like he's politicked his way into getting this title, and people bought it. But I always had Cena down as winner. I didn't buy into it, and then. But it is obviously just going to be him, Drew McIntyre versus the Priest, Benno, and yet another undercut. I know, but that's what it is. What else would you put him in there with anyone else? You're going to say you're not on Davey and Priest.
Wouldn't put him. I put Priest. I just not put in there.
Sami Zayn and McIntyre, is that it? Do Sami and Drew? Something, you know.
Maybe. But I do feel bad. I do feel bad for Drew because he did do his career's best work, and this is the spot that he's in. I did partly thought, oh, maybe this is going to be paid off at the end of the night, and that's why he takes Rock's offer, and still thought he might do the Chosen One 2.0 stuff. But yeah, I thought obviously they opened to it. I think it made sense. you look at the list of names that are in this match, that Drew and Seth start off, because again, I don't think Priest and Drew anyone's clamoring for enough for them to start off. But the work I thought was pretty listless until Logan Paul got involved, and I think he does add something, when it comes to like he was winding up Punk in his part, climbing to the top of it, jumping off. He was. Everyone thinks of it's like Elimination Chamber. We always say this. To me, it feels like a recent gimmick, and it's like no, it's not. They've been doing it since 2003 or something
2002,
like that. I was 2002. I think of Rob Van Dam. He's in that first one, isn't he?
First one, yeah.
Off the pod and doing.
You injured Triple H with the frog, didn't he? With the frog splash.
That's right. Yeah. How many years ago, mate? 23 years ago.
23 years ago.
Recent that. Wild, we're old, but like he kind of filled that role. I think Logan Paul made things a lot more interesting, and I think leaning that into waiting for Punk to get out the pod and Punk wanting to get his hands on him. Thought that was a good little bit, but I think until Punk and Cena got out,
no Benno, no, you're underselling that, and that was magical, and like honest to God, like they have just this chemistry that mightn't be fucking the most perfect wrestling synergy you've ever seen, like in there, but it just all clicked, didn't it?
Oh, Punk and Cena, I've got loads to say about that. Yeah,
even I was just like, when they were going at it, Benno, like it was magic. It genuinely was. It was like playing the hits, knowing each other's things so well. It's been that long.
Everything about it.
And it got the fans, as you say, if they were into it at like 40, 50, 60, they got up to like 80, 90% when they were going at it, and the big face off, and even the stuff like, hey, I've missed you too, even all that shit, it just added to it, didn't it? Even playing into the finish, jumping ahead when Cena, did you get on when he had Punk in the STFU saying, I'm sorry in that? Did you get onto that? He was screaming at him, I'm sorry. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, like I say, first half of the match, nothing. There's nothing to it. Them two, it's a weird magic. I think it's a worry. Cena's just overall performances in ring since he's been on this like half-assed retirement run, and even before it, that's the biggest negative when it comes to whether he can pull this character off. But I think with Punk, there is just that magic there. You can tell Cena clearly values Punk, sees him as like one of his great career rivals. Yeah. And the thing about them it was always the thing, wasn't it? Obviously their best match, I think most would agree, is the Money in the Bank match. And that match is a near 5-star match where the execution is like not too many levels above, in some moments, like trainee stuff at times, because the two of them are just as sloppy as each other, but it's so charming, and they're both so charismatic, and just something about it works. You just smush those two pieces together, and just something happens. They kind of know where each other are, and it's like this awkward, awesome chaos. And they pretty much played the hits, and it was quite simplistic, wasn't it? It was like, FU, whatever he calls it, attitude adjustment, whatever he calls it now, GTS near fall, just back and forth, doing the big kick outs up to like the finish you said there, starting obviously with that moment, which did feel genuine, it did feel earned, it did feel like they probably genuinely missed each other, but just something about it, like there's always been something with them where the sum total is like better than the parts, or maybe it's the reverse. I'm not sure what it is. It shouldn't work as well as it does. It shouldn't be as good at an end product as it is, when some of the clunkiness and the awkwardness and the way those moments here is so apparent. But it's just magic when they're together, and one of the great rivalries.
I'm just booking ahead in my head now. Like if Cena does win at WrestleMania and like they screw Cody out the belt, and Cody has to go just miss a month or something, who's the first that'll stand up to Rock and Cena? It's CM Punk, isn't it? You could do that match, Cena and Punk, what we want, and have that as a title match. And
could that be Cody the tag? Cena and Cody versus Punk and Rock?
Here we go, Ben. We're booking it. Let's do it. Just go for it.
Cena's the only one. I mean, Punk, outside the Roman, is the only one who fits that criteria of that upper echelon type guy, doesn't he? And
this is it.
I mean, you could do Seth. They love doing Seth, but
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Roman yet as well. Like, and I'm not going to be critical.
That's because you didn't turn up to work, mate.
Of course, I'm not going to be critical of him, but I'm going to say something that maybe see negative about him. Like, everyone's stepping up. He's got to come back in this feud, and he's got to be on it. Like, he's got to be like diving in, because you've got Cena who's hot. You've got fucking like that match is going to be got Jey Uso. I know when I play into the story of Roman and Jey Uso, like you've got Jey Uso who's hot. He's got to come back and enlighten this Seth and Punk, because you're down there already. Just got, I'm guessing it's just Seth's involved. Yeah, I know. But Roman is going to insert himself into this, and I just don't know how that's going to work though, Benno. Because you've got the Royal Rumble spot where Seth took Roman out. Seth cost Punk. And whether you don't like Seth or not, like any sort of singles match though, like it'd be better for just a straight up like psychology wise. You add them Roman into it, and you add them. I don't know. Use them all 4 layers, you know me, and story. But even I'm like, how's it gonna work? You know.
Punk and Drew, like the moments where Punk and Drew went face to face, I was like, I'll take that again. I wouldn't. It's obviously not my plan A, B, C, or D, but Rollins is plan Z for me. Like Punk and Logan Paul, I feel like there's more chemistry there as a rivalry based on Raw last week and based on their interactions here, but that seems to be pretty dead because it was just clean as a whistle.
He got the payback, the slap that he got on Raw. He paid back, the slap, yeah.
But it was like a mini story, and that doesn't seem like it's going anywhere longer. I think I don't want the 3-way, but it was kind of cold comfort. Something I also don't want is still better than when Seth did do the double stomp, and it was a great spot, well set up. Went straight to the Cena.
Really
STF.
good, yeah.
I enjoyed it. But, like, Rollins, the only way Rollins works in a WrestleMania card and doing anything of note was that he's such a loser that you might have got away with him being Rock's chosen one because he's such a fucking nerd that he might... Look at last year's Mania and how much of a geek he looked last year at WrestleMania. You could have actually paid that off with, the geek to get to sit at the big boy table. He's willing to do whatever. That was the only positive thing I could say you could do with Seth at Mania, because as soon as that happened, it was like, oh, we're getting more Seth Punk. Yeah. Really? Like, it's done, it's dead. Yeah. And yet you add Roman, you can do the 3-way. And yes, that does improve Punk and Seth. But you know what it reduces from and what it's a negative to? Just the idea of doing Punk and Roman. There's your big fucking stars. Just have them wrestle each other. Like, why is that not, like, genuinely, why are they not doing that? Why is that not just a match? Why are we overcomplicating it?
I know you're not into the match I'm going to say, but Ben, I'd take Roman and Seth. Like, I'd take any singles match. Yeah, I'd take any singles match.
Well, I get Punk doing something more interesting, so I'd take it. But why? Why are we doing a 3-way?
Yeah, but how are we getting it? Even from the unless I'm missing something off the TV, like Seth cost them both. Are they both gonna? Is Roman and Punk gonna both start arguing on TV that we want to wrestle Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? And they're gonna go, all right, well, we'll have a 3-way. How's it gonna work? Because Roman does, even if you're going to put in wrestling landscapes of like qualifying matches, or Roman's not gonna wrestle on Raw and SmackDown. You know, how are they gonna get? How's that gonna be like? And don't get me wrong, someone could play this and in 6 weeks' time be like, fucking can't wait for this triple threat match. Cannot wait.
You will know it's a Roman match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but I'm
saying this. Much.
But even I'm saying this, Ben, is I don't know how they're going to get there, and I'm not overly, like, you know, excited for it at this point in time. With that, are they going to argue? Like, I don't know how they're going to get. But I do think, I know Seth isn't everyone's cup of tea. I do think he's been underrated in the last few weeks with all even his mic work and the stuff with Cody. Honestly, I know it's looking past the visual of his
rated outfits. Just fine, that. Mate.
I think he has been good though, and he has been protected, and he's cost both.
Not to a WrestleMania match. Yeah. He's a net negative to that. That is such a more.
No, I'll take any singles, of course, man. Any singles.
Even politics wise, one of them can do the job. It's not the end of the world. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know why they're doing it. Really, it just makes the card lesser. Like, how does this? So, like, we've talked about it so much, like, not knowing this WrestleMania card, not knowing what direction they're going. They were clearly waiting for Dwayne. I don't think they were waiting for this. They were waiting for Dwayne, and this is how it's fit together. So now we know that at least one of the nights is presumably, in fact, definitely,
I'm waiting for this,
going to be main evented by Cena and Cody.
That's night two. I'll take that. Now it's got to go night 2. Even I'll say that. That's night 2. Done.
I'm fucking careful. What's the night 1 big match?
This is it, Benno. For me, and this is Roman's biggest fan, of course, you've got to go Jay and Gunther. You've got to. How can they sell that as the triple threat match being the main event just because the biggest? It doesn't make sense. Why should that go on last ahead of Jay and Gunther? Why should?
Because it's main event wrestlers.
But no, Ben. But yeah, it will be. But that reaction that you're going to get at the end of Jey Uso, don't care how over Roman Reigns is, and I love him, you don't care how over CM Punk is, I don't care how over Seth Rollins is, that'll be eclipsed by that reaction you'll get if Jey Uso wins that title. You want that as your visual to end night 1. And especially if Cena's going to win night 2, the heel, you need some sort of babyface going over at the end, crowned as champion. So
it's a gimmick. Like I said to you before, it's a main event Uso is a gimmick. Main event Uso getting his big WrestleMania win is a story.
That's harsh, that.
And they can tell that story. They might be able to, but to get there, it almost feels like they purposely dilute the card by then, because there's so many other pieces on the table that could have an equivalent big night one main event. And we're not doing
I read
it.
something,
It's
though,
not going to
Ben.
come from the women's division.
You'd love this, like,
you know.
Sorry, you'd love this, and I should check my source. I read the other day, and I hope it's bullshit. That someone...
It'll be bullshit. I know whatever you're about to say.
Like, Gunfair is apparently going to beat Jey Uso, like Brock beat Cena that time, and just squash him. They can't do that, can they? They just can't. Even you've got to say... I know
it's not been reported by anyone. Like, I think your Roman Reigns avatars on Twitter have been having a chat. You could, I'd love it to happen. Like I've enjoyed Gunther's work on these Raws and smashing through the sports entertainers, and it's a great story and it's a nice win for the crowd. But I don't know.
But
maybe they have opened the door now to do that night one.
But when you look at it, Ben, like even we've been saying, and it is still like 6 weeks ago, so we have on the slide we've got like
it felt like a long time, didn't it? A couple of weeks ago, it was like, fucking how long still WrestleMania? How are they gonna fill these weeks? And I still feel like that with Jane Gunther. To be honest, that's a long time for that story, but mostly actually that time's gonna go very quickly now, isn't it?
So we've got Cena, Cody. You take that, especially with Cena as a heel now. Jay and Gunther, take that all day long with the storyline. Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, the story's not been great up to now, but the match should deliver on the night. And you've got Rhea versus Bianca. It's going to be, or maybe it's official. So that's going to be good. Rhea and Bianca, or even Bianca and Io's going to be good, but Rhea's not going to get left out of it. So that's a good one. And then, as you say, we're still booking. We've got that triple threat, something with Logan Paul's got to get a match. There's other things they've got to fill this card out. Drew and Priest, Orton and Kevin Owens. So there's still a few spots though available. Ben, we're going to get a couple of multi-person matches, I'm sure. And then we've got to fill this card up until go time.
3 ways.
Yeah, we'll see.
All the big stuff.
See. Are you more excited though? I am. I'm more excited than into
I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens with the main story. I just want to see what it looks like. What does Cena's promos look like? What does he wear? Like we said earlier.
Yeah.
I want to see that. They've got me now. If they announce I wish somebody at the presser, because there were no good questions at the presser really. Like I say, even when Triple H and Rock were shooting, people kept asking them kayfabe questions, and it was almost annoyance to them. And you had people like Sam Roberts trying to put over his podcast and stuff. I just wish someone had said because they'd have answered. When are we getting a follow-up to this? When is Cena back on telly? When's Rock back on telly? Is it going to be Raw this week? It's going to be SmackDown this week. Like you say, there's only 6 weeks, so it's not this week. It's going to be soon. But when it happens, I'm going to be watching because I am intrigued, and it was an all-time. Whether it's historically up there with like a Hogan thing, or whether it's a real heel turn that has that weight, I'm on the fence with. But is it an entertaining way to fill the telly for in the run to WrestleMania? Does it give way more juice to WrestleMania than that?
Yeah,
absolutely. And I am more invested than I was. So fuck, you've won one, mate. Usually I'm giving it to you. Normal business will resume. I thought it was a good show. It was.
It was. No, it was.
Not gonna lie for the bit to argue with Matty. I thought it was.
But as you say, Ben, even if it is just a moment, it felt like a bit Survivor Series-esque when it was universally praised in our circles, especially. It did give you from the hot start with Jade Cargill. You were in. It gave that the match delivered as well. Kevin and Sami, delivered. You had the angle coming out of that with Randy Orton, that was hot, and then obviously the icing on top of the cake was the Cena heel turn. So you had a lot of big moments in this, and the matches, whether you will say what you want about them or not, they were fine, except for that throwaway tag match, of course. But yeah, just a moment show, and we're on the road.
3 match card.
Yeah, we're on the road, Benno. We're fully. I've got the booth full up now. I've got me drinking the fucking drinks holder. You're driving. We're on the road, mate. We're going.
I'd like to say I'm happy to for you, but who knows? But there we go. So excited on the road to WrestleMania. Yeah, we decided to do this little special here, but yeah, hopefully people have enjoyed it. There are our thoughts coming off the show. Might all change. Coming Raw, coming SmackDown. I'm sure I'll be chatting to JP about it. But yeah, anything else, mate? Before we get out of here and WWE Elimination Chamber in general. Yeah, is this where you do your collision review? I confess I haven't seen it yet. Robert said it was a show on the Discord, which I've been loving Dynamite and Collision these weeks. Listen to the weekend show. It's on the feed right now. Full on Dynamite review. Me and JP did the elimination preview at the end, but that's for the true sickos. We're back with AEW content coming up.
Yeah. Actually, we can't talk about AEW when something like that happens. We
can.
Like Benno. To be fair, we could.
Tony Khan tried on Twitter. I felt bad for him on those nights. Justified. This is awesome chance for Daniel Garcia. Nice one. Cheers, Tony. Yeah, that rating would be good, but that's fine. That's fine.
But it's
one of those nights you got to give the Fed.
normal service will be resumed next week, I am sure. And this concludes like a mammoth day of recording, Ben. I've seen you a lot today, mate. You know, and especially when you're on location as well. So it's
that's it, yeah. So again, apology. Hopefully the audio sounds okay, even if the video is a bit ropey. Was not expected to be recording this, but I thought to be happily at home by the time we have to talk this pay-per-view. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. For patrons, for YouTube members, yeah, as Matty said, we did also put out today. I believe JP will have been done with the edit by now. Obviously your dealer's choice, mate, Spring Stampede 1999. The Matty Edwards pre-show returned. It is back. Yeah. It was a great way to round out Dealer's Choice Month and a great time for people to jump in. If you jump in now, join the Patreon, join the YouTube, you get all four Dealer's Choice shows from this month. 4 very different shows, but 4 very good shows, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it rounded off another great concept of the Dealer's Choice Month, and it was a good show. It felt like a good flowy conversation. A lot of sidebars with the state of WCW at the time in 1999.
My WCW, that mate.
New sets, new logos.
Bordering on yours.
Bit of Conan love for Benno and the disco feud with the rap videos and such. So
Blitzkrieg, mate.
Blitzkrieg, yeah.
Bring him back.
Hack, a sober Jim Fullington and WCW. A lot to unpack and a lot of sidebars. But yeah, really enjoyed that chat this afternoon.
There you go. That was all there, and obviously, we're into a new month because February's shorter. That's just how it works, isn't it? That's how calendars
work.
That's how we're already into the mix when it comes to March. But yeah, we're gonna have a fun little. We'll call it the pick and mixtape. We're gonna be all assigned some random categories to pick some matches for a mixtape. Some categories we're gonna want, some we're not gonna want. That's gonna be a lot of fun this month. And on top of that, we'll be doing a film club. I think we settled on the subject, did we, Matty? Can we say it? Is it?
Yeah, I'd say it's Stallone. We'll take a few, suggestions, but it's going to be Stallone.
We had a busy wrestling month.
Yeah, Stallone poll.
Film club.
So Rocky 3 was the genesis for the idea, wasn't it? But we're going to throw a few Stallone classics in there, and hopefully we'll come up with one that we can discuss.
That's it. On top of that, there'll be a GRAPPL lads. On top of that, Gac's King of the Mountain choice will be this month. Always puts us through our paces. And Retro as well should be out this week too, as well, shouldn't it?
Yes.
Exclusively patrons and YouTube members. You can join the Patreon for free. And we do put the odd thing in the free feed, and you can join the YouTube page for 99p. Put your name in some nice colours and you get some fun emojis. I feel like it's worth it for 99p. And I'll get you Retro as well. So it's still available and it is free as long as you join the Patreon. So do sign up for that and look forward to what you lads have got in store. Time as well this month. All the shows.
Yeah, all the shows are here, Ben, and can't wait to talk some more Brett, see Liam again, see the list for time. We've had a little sneak peek and it looks like a corker of an episode coming this month. So as you say, Ben, an awful lot coming, as always, with us and the schedule in the month of March, mate.
Brilliant. Well, there we go. That's it for us for another show. This has been a Spotlight special edition. Thank you to our patrons. Thank you to our live patrons who weren't with us, but they were with us earlier tonight. So they were with us in spirit. And thank you to our kings and queens of the mountain, Conor O'Loughlin, Eddie Sideburns, Chris Platt, Cargill, and Sophia Hitchcock. We'll catch you again on the next one. Good night, all.
And Benno, you can see me.
Cena fan Matty. It is not the future I wanted. Good night, all. You'll be head to toe at Mania, mate. Full on full gear. Full C Nation. It's coming. Good night, everyone.
Ta-da.